Hello, hello. Happy Friday. Thank Godot it's Friday. And it's also episode 256. Huzzah. It's Power of Two. It's our first Power of Two episode since episode 128. And it's going to be our last Power of Two episode until episode 512. Hey, Diginanigans. Hey, Rhiannon Journey. How's everyone doing? I know it's crazy. I know I told everyone this is the episode number we're celebrating, not episode 250 or whatever else. And yeah, that's your first Power of Two episode ever. Hopefully not your last. I hope not. Just hang out with us for another I'd say at least a year and a half. At least. If I had to guess when the next Power of Two episode would be, it would probably be around March or April of 2027. So we'll see. It's gonna be crazy. That's the crazy thing about this weird little process. Because then the next one after that would be episode 1024, and it's like, oh, I don't know. Maybe at a certain point I go full time and we start doing like 2 episodes a day, just to keep the episode sizes around a consistent amount. Like maybe we do like a 3 or 4 hour morning episode and then like another 3 or 4 hour like afternoon episode. I'm just thinking about in the distant future, if I've gotten to the point financially where I can, you know, spend more time on this. Something like that could be cool. I don't want to get to the point where one day the episodes are just like 6 hours long or something like that. Or 8 hours or whatever. But yeah, I'm going to wait a little while to do the thing we said we were going to do, which is to dive into our last episode, our last Power of 2 episode, and see what we were working on, which will hopefully, in that episode, hopefully we'll dive into the last Power of 2 episode before that. Hopefully we get this cool little tunnel vision. I really hope I nailed this and actually did this correctly. I'm hoping that's doable by reviewing the video. We'll see. I'm gonna change the music. This music's crazy. We're gonna play something chill. Yeah, we're gonna play this. Because we are hype, but we're also chill. Because it's Friday. My back hurts. It's more my leg than my back, but it's like one of those. It's like a... I don't know how to describe it, but I'm tired. It's Friday. Sitting in a chair is not comfortable, but we're doing it. Rhiannon Journey, is the editor in a working state now to show the current state? You know, it might be. There was something we needed to do, but I think we fixed it. So yeah, let's make sure we fixed it so that the next time we do one of these, future Dave can look back and be like, oh, okay, they had something, it was working. Not just, oh, they had this pile of broken code. So for posterity, this seems to be working. The exception is that there's no flood fill happening right now. But the editing part seems to be working. So that's good. But yeah, the cutaway system is not running, or it's not doing anything because, I mean, this part, but the compartmental cutaway is not doing anything because it doesn't have any data about where the spaces are. So yeah, let's start working on that. So now that this part is done, I think that means that we can go back here and get the synchronization stuff working. I think we can do this now. So this stuff, I don't know if this is happening. It doesn't look like it. It seems like the answer is this stuff is not happening. Where do we put our out variable? Let's rename that just so that it's consistent. And then this we should be setting in a couple different places. Paste, place. So yeah, let's figure out where this isn't running. How's everyone doing? This fine Friday. let's make sure that we're operating on all the right buffers. This looks correct. And then so what we need to do is we need to handle this settling process where we copy stuff back and forth. So like the tile system just works on these, on this buffer. And this is the live visual feedback buffer. This is like you're making changes. Let me show you those changes instantly. Like that's what the preview blocks are. And then the settled blocks are the more permanent. Like we've committed to doing this. This is the stuff that we can run longer, slower functions over. Like we can do our flood fill, and we're going to eventually do our block validation. That's kind of what we're setting up now. Just trying to set up the groundwork to be able to validate that the blocks that have been constructed are legal. And if not, to do like an overlay. And so it's this block that we're concerned about here. So we run the tool system. If the tool system says that we have buffers changes, and if this task is completed, we can run it again. Preview room changes. So this gets set when I should rename some of these. Settle is a nice word. Preview is not as good a word for describing pushing things back. I'm tempted to go back to calling it sync and sync back. Or something. So we do this. We potentially do this. Preview block room changes. Hey, Nix, how's it going? And then we do this, and then we do the copy. So we have to... Oh, we're doing that copy up here. Okay. So this copy's fine. Then we do this copy. We do both these copies. What could be preventing this stuff from doing anything? You missed the look back? No, we're going to wait a little while. We're going to wait a little while to get more people in. But yes, it's episode 256. We're going to do a look back. We love our Power of 2 episodes. We're going to look back at our last Power of 2 episode 128. If I had to guess, I mean, obviously we were still working on the block editor tool. At episode 128. My memory is that around episode 100 is kind of when we were deep in our ECS stuff. So I feel like by episode 128, we were probably done with our initial entity component system implementation, and we were working on some kind of block editor thing. No. I realize that it's kind of rude to just go live and then immediately go into the thing that you said you were going to do, because no one's shown up yet. So yeah, we're going to wait. We'll wait a little while. Maybe we'll do it. I don't know when we'll do it. We'll do it when either I feel like I have a reasonable viewer count that I think all the regulars are here. Or we'll do it after like the first ad break. And if you're watching the VOD, you can jump ahead. OBS is broken. I don't know if anyone's watching on YouTube. Except I know Diginanigans is. YouTube represent. Hey, Rikia, you're here. Semi-lurkin. Nice. Thanks. Appreciate that. Nix, you went to the carnival tonight? Get to exercise your shooting muscles? Okay, you did some carnival games? That's fun. That's fun. All right, so my concern... So we have the forms, we have the rooms. We should be writing back to this. This should be read-only. For sure. I call this clear function. A little concerned about what it does. Span.clear. Clears the contents of the span. The span should remain the same size, I think. Yeah. Okay, I think that's fine. And then what we should do is we should be filling this back up as we go along here. Let's see if we're actually doing that. I have no idea what double fire 20 in shooting is, but it sounds good. Oh, double fire. I get it. Double fire 20. It's RimWorld reference, of course. I get it. Very passionate about carnival shooting. That's cool. That's cool. That sounds fun. Of course it's RimWorld, yeah. Silly of me not to immediately think of that. Okay, is block the form? Yeah, block is the form. Where are we getting the room? Stack.push. Should be doing it here then. Should be here. Rooms. Span.set room index equals rooms.get index. I still don't love how we don't distinguish when you're setting something and it just adds it versus setting it and replacing it. What are we working on tonight? We've done the thing where theoretically we've split the visual part of the editing. So you can edit in real time, very live. And then whenever you submit, whenever you're done with like you lift off the mouse and you're done with like a click drag or something, it's supposed to signal that we can settle all those changes. Once all the changes get settled, we can run things like the flood fill and eventually the block validation. So we're trying to put these on parallel tracks. And I think the first track, the tool system track of like the actually making the edits, I think that track is working. But we're not getting anything from the other track. So I'm just checking all the basic stuff just to make sure one of our last refactors didn't necessarily mess any of that up. It looks fine. We're setting the rooms, theoretically. But I'm sure there's some kind of issue somewhere I don't know about. So I guess what we need to do is we need to scrutinize this a little bit. Also, so I think this function is okay. We're doing all this stuff. We make our new task. What I don't know is if this needs to be a task itself. Is that part of the problem? I'm gonna see if this is ever happening. So it's not. So the sync back is never occurring. So we can make a change and it's never... Okay, that's interesting. It's interesting. Let's see if we try to sync. Okay, so we attempt to sync. Oh. Okay. So is the problem that the task is just never complete, is never viewed as complete? Okay, so that part is good. Just keep throwing debug statements in the conditionals until you figure it out. Till you find where the hang up is. Okay, so we attempt to do that, and then we don't because we're waiting. We're just waiting. Are we still waiting? We're just waiting. So we're waiting on the flood fill. The flood fill task is never reporting that it's completed, which is interesting. So yeah, I'm initializing the task incorrectly, which is typical me. I'm not like an expert on C# threading. I'm like very basic. I'm like, just use task. It usually works. So private task, main task, task.run. Is that a way we do that there? Maybe the flood fill doesn't have correct boundaries. I don't think there's a problem with the flood fill per se, because we haven't changed any of it. We haven't changed the actual execution of the flood fill. I'm pretty sure that it's a problem with the task getting spun up. I think it's getting spun up and it's not registering correctly as completing. I don't know. So here we say main system.run. So we have this run as the task. And so here we have run task. You have your own task. It's weird. I don't like how this is nested here, but I think this is okay. So this isn't a task. There could also be like a sequential execution thing that's happening that's weird. Because there is an outer task that this is wrapped in. Possible. It's possible we're seeing a problem here. What if I make this a task? Oh, maybe this is where the needs to be the task. Let's try this. Let's kind of just do the same basic thing that we're doing outside. So the first thing we do is we initialize by running just kind of an empty task, just so the task knows that it's completed. It just starts as completed because it just runs once. Otherwise, it seems to be initialized in a weird way, in a weird state, if I don't do something like that. So what we can do here is we can say same thing here, or the same thing here. Okay, fill task is... This check is unnecessary, I think. It is. It's patently unnecessary, but we're going to put it in here because I'm not comfortable. Well, how does this work? Game system.run. Maybe we can't do it here. It has to be done here. Yeah, maybe this is wrong, actually. There's a bunch of stuff about making it so the task is ordered correctly and so that it runs either sequentially if it needs to or asynchronously if it can. There's a bunch of stuff involved in this, and I'm not super well versed in it. I think we're going to try to fix this, and then after our first ad break, I think we'll do our look back, our episode 256 look back. I might have said that already. Main task equals main system.run. Interesting how main task here isn't creating a task. We have the task in here, and you have your own task. Wonder if we need to add on to this task. Probably not, because I don't think that's our problem. I don't think our problem is an outer loop thing. I think it's inside this particular thing. I think this is fine. Fill task is task factory, start new. Problem is it's not completing, seemingly. It seems to never complete. Is there something I can write out that will help us with this? Fill task dot status. I guess I can just report the status of the task for now. We'll see what's getting jammed up here. I'm always super embarrassed when I do any kind of stuff here. Waiting to run, running. Task is running. We're just going to keep doing stuff until the task says it's not running anymore. I like that I don't need to hollow out these rooms anymore. They kind of just get made. It's kind of nice. And then if I want to like make the room bigger, I can just like erase this floor. It's nice. So this task never finished. Never finished. That's interesting. It's waiting to run for a frame, and then it just never ends. So let's see how that's possible. Let's just check to see if we get to the end of this. My suspicion is we are getting to the end of this function. But maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe we're just stuck here forever. Flood fill is the kind of world you can get stuck in forever. I do have a carve out that should stop something like that from happening. Waiting to run, running. Are we still running? We're still running. Interesting. Yeah, at no point... At no point do we seem to finish. Fascinating. Okay. How is that possible? Make sure that we're starting it, I guess. I presume that that's happening at least. Run started, running. And then this just never finishes. Do we just wait a second and see if it finishes in like 30 seconds or something? There's no reason for that. Maybe Nyx is right. Maybe there is some kind of problem with the flood fill not terminating. Kind of weird. It seems to not terminate, like, ever. I hope this clear isn't causing a problem. Let's see if we get to here. Yeah, it's very weird. Okay, we don't get there. Let's see if we get to here. Okay, we get to there. Great. Yeah, so we get stuck and compartmentalize, it seems. Maybe this thing I'm doing where I'm clearing this span is actually having some kind of horrible catastrophic problem. So we're definitely getting stuck in this function. Calculate used bounds. 0. That seems wrong. Do I really need to clear this? Is, I guess, my question. Shouldn't this necessarily get fully reset? I'm gonna try this without the clear. I'm a little nervous about doing that, but I'm gonna try it. The clear must be destroying more information than I'm giving it credit for. Oh, nope. It's still running indefinitely. Clear or no? We're just never escaping this function. Very strange. All right, let's figure out why. I have a partition count timeout. Let's just see as we go through the partitions. Actually, we should never get to this point. There's no way we're going to reach that point. What if I actually make a compartment? Oh, well, it's not done with the first one, so it's not gonna... Yeah, this should be really straightforward. Very strange. Put a break in the function, jump through line by line. Line by line would be pretty excruciating. My suspicion is that we get stuck in the exterior flood fill. So we can verify that by just putting a breakpoint here. Actually, I'll put a breakpoint on this while loop. Somehow we're getting stuck in an exterior flood fill that's never ending. Just curious. It's possible the copy is going, something's going wrong with the copy. Because I really didn't change very much. This block settlement thing happens first. Let's make sure this is preview forms, span, copy to settled forms.span. Great. Preview span. Block forms buffer 3D. Settled forms, block forms buffer 3D. That should be fine. We do that before we run the task. So we're just stuck in this forever. Let's see what happens. Let's see what kind of parameters we're passing in here. Creating an early exit. Then the task would show that it's complete. Bounds 000 63 63 7. Unvisited 62,768. Forms buffer 3D read write block forms. Oh, that should be a read only for one thing. Visited system read only. Yep, yeah, that's fine. Bounds, count. All of this is so far so good. This should be read only. For one thing. Alright, we need to dig into the function, I guess. I love how we're being Amazing Grace is being played for us as we like examine our like dead code. Flood volume get non-overlapping fill volume while stack count is greater than 0. This is the problem here. Stack count is just forever greater than 0, is I presume what's happening. It's just not letting us terminate for some reason. Let's try to understand what's happening here. Stack push, visited add, stack push, visited add. Stack push. If block has either of these, continue. Continue. We pop it right here. But it is weird. It is weird. I think this is not... I think there are some early outs that actually aren't running. And so I think we're just forever populating the stack. At a certain point, we should, once we've searched stuff, we should stop doing that. I changed some of this stuff. Forms, try get, adjacent, out, block forms, adjacent block. What does try get do? That's fine. I changed a couple of these lines. I changed this line and this line. This check is gotta be the thing that's causing it. In which case, we're going to run into the same problem down here, probably. If this or this continue, if this continue. Oh no, we have that same, pretty much the same logic here. If visited contains, if not fill volume contains, or not forms, try get adjacent out block forms, continue. And then if has this continue. One Z level below, one Z level above. Same Z level. Which is where we trap this. Very strange. So we push everything the first time. And then we pop it out, and then we either ignore its neighbors or we also push its neighbors. So my presumption... So we're just gonna debug.log stack count. And we're just gonna watch and see what it does. By debug log, I mean right line. So yeah, let's just see what the count looks like, because my suspicion is similar to Nix's, which is we're just never actually getting over. We're not ever actually getting over anything. Stack count is going up. It is going up, it's not going down. So yeah, so there's some early outs that we're supposed to be Oh, the stack count is starting to go down now. But it blew up to 30,000. I don't think 30,000 is the right number. It actually should start with like flood fill.get non-overlapping fill volume. Okay, it started counting up again. It's counting down. Yeah, this is very bad. To the diff. I don't think so. I mean, it's just something I changed, and I've changed a lot. So at least we have that benefit. We can just look back here and see what happened. So this is particular to... It's particular to the exterior flood fill, which lives where? 90. Line 90. Okay. Exterior flood fill. Block buffer.getter default coords. Block forms block equals forms.getter default coords. Block.has, that's all the same. So what we've changed are these sets of lines. And this continue statement must not be getting run. And it's very strange. Buffered try get, adjacent out block, adjacent block. That's exactly the same. So I don't know. It could be the forms getter default. We're getting like a default form out of this, and the form is... Maybe the default form is wrong? I don't know. Let's see. Let's just see what form we get. A little sad that this is what people are gonna see when we do the next one of these. I don't think it's this, but it could be this. It could be three things. One of three areas. False. Okay, these are almost entirely empty. So yeah, that's all fine. That part seems fine. It's gotta be here. It's gotta be this. This isn't even a change though. But for some reason, it's just forever. We're just doing this forever. So we used to just have the one buffer. Now we have two buffers. Reset compartments. We aren't doing this anymore. Oh, so now we're just... It shouldn't matter either, though. Bounds.toList. No, the bounds we're passing in is correct. Actually, we should be checking a much smaller area than we're checking, shouldn't we? I want to look at the get used bounds thing. Calculate used bounds. Has this function changed? Forms. So the thing that was curious when I saw this last time is that this count seems to be 0. Oh, yeah. Count 0. That's suspicious. Let's step into this. Let's calculate used bounds. This buffer is very full. It's almost entirely empty space. Forms span I has any. This has... No. This has any acting weirdly. Possible. It's suspicious that that is giving us a count of 0. Count 0. You've never heard of him. 1, 2, 3, blah. It's value not equal to 0. Oh, if forms.span I.has any continue, that's wrong. It should be that, shouldn't it? If not, oh, because this used to be is empty. I flipped the... yeah, because we're not... Well, now we know what happens when you provide a default bounds. Where did you suggest that the bounds that we were posting was not valid? I feel like Nick's called this. Maybe the flood field doesn't have correct boundaries. That was your first suggestion, and I was like, nah, that's probably fine. I think that was the problem, because this used to be forms... It used to be block is empty, but we don't do an is empty check anymore. Now we do a has any, which reports the opposite of is empty. And I did not flip that, and it didn't show up. Yep. That was probably it. We'll see. All right, hit me with the count. Where's the count? Count is still 0. That's still weird. Well, let's see if that did anything, I guess. I think we're narrowing it down. Oh, run started, run finished. Phil, sync back, waiting to run. Run started, run finished. Okay, that was it. GG. This run's easy. We do a fill, we wait to run, then we start the run, then we finish the run, then we try to do another fill.
Your logic was impeccable,
back.
Captain.
Thanks, Random Journey. Nix's logic was impeccable. Took me a while to figure that one out. I knew it had to do with the refactor. I'm like, we didn't change any of the fundamental behavior of this system. And it used to work, you know? It's an open question whether this needs to be cleared, but I'm gonna just keep it. Because I could see a world in which that causes problems. That was for Nix? Great, thanks. Thanks, Random Journey. All right, we're almost at our first ad break. I think we'll do our look back. Just want to finish this so that future us have something to look at that's not just me bug hunting the whole time. All right, so theoretically this is all working now. Let's see how this task workflow thing. Let's see if we can do it. Nix gets promoted from Script Kitty. Yeah, Nix gets a promotion from Script Kitty. So we'll do this, and we're going to make a room, and we're going to see if the system eventually acknowledges the room. It did pretty quickly. But the cutaway system... We noticed this yesterday. The cutaway system has a concern. Cutaway system is behaving very strangely. I don't totally understand. To the diff! To the diff mobile. I know this is a lot of changes. When I do a big refactor, I like to not incrementally commit the changes. I know I should. I don't. I'm a bad person. I've had refactors before where I've wanted to just revert the whole thing. I usually don't want to revert part of a refactor. I'm usually like, this went horribly wrong. We need to go back. Okay. We have to go back. So what am I looking for? In the tile system, I'm looking for the changes we've made to the cutaway. Let's look out for any is empty versus has any swaps, you know? You know what I mean? Cutaway interior blocks by cursored rooms. This is where the problem is, I suspect. Or it could also be it's not popping the roof off, which is concerning. It should be popping the roof off. And it's not happening. Not forms contains cursor not within bounds. Not cursored rooms has any. So the cursor is being detected as in a compartment, or we'd be seeing an exception. Nick, sometimes you completely forget to get your changes, even though you're no longer Script Kitty. It still happens to the best. Yeah, it does. Diginanigans, you don't like committing partial ideas either. You'll leave things uncommitted for many days if needed, and will only commit the files that are relevant. That way, if you need to roll back to a certain point, it should still work, and you can get a better idea of what was going on at a particular point in time. I'm really bad with my commits. I commit pretty regularly. But, I commit, like, per stream. So I don't commit by, like, feature, which is what I should do. I commit by, like, time. I commit temporally. Like, I'm like, oh, here's all this shit I did today. Commit that. And I try to explain in the description a little bit about what that was. But so it's like I have a lot of detailed information about when I did something, but I have very little information about what was done. And I think I'm going to start to regret that when we start doing actual published builds. I'll probably have to get my shit together by then. Hey, Arneo, when this baby hits 400 commits, you're going to see some serious shit. Yeah, exactly. All right, my concern is that somewhere in here is a simple little check that we've totally ruined by splitting these buffers. If cursored forms.hasAny continue, did this used to be is empty? I refactored this. I did not think about it at all. Oh, what was this? Line 402. All right, let's go look. Let's go look. Yep, this used to be an is empty call. Now it's a has any. So the condition needs to be flipped, and it was not. And I'm so dumb, but at least we understand that that was the problem. I am so dumb. Okay, there's one of those. There's got to be another one somewhere. So there was one on 402. Where's the other one? There was another one at 40. Oh, no, that one's fine. I think it's just literally this one line. These simple cases where I used to have had an is empty check, and I was like, I don't like the is empty check. I'm gonna switch to a parameterless has any, but I'm not going to. I'm not gonna flip the condition. All right. Well, GG. GG no re, as they say. Rhiannon, your main branch will always work. Your features branch often have work in progress that are in broken states, but you either rebase or squash for the merge back into main. It's good stuff. That's good stuff. I don't really do branches yet. I don't need to, but I will. Rhiannon, when you're working on features or refactors, you commit early and often. The way you work, you find you rarely want to crash the entire thing, but if you do, you'll just go back to the correct point in the commit history. You love that this moment will be immortalized in the next Power of 2 episode? Yeah. Yeah, it'll be humbling to 512 me, who will just have become so much mightier. Nix, that's a great way of doing it. Usually just Control Z back your hundreds of changes. Oof. All right, so this part should work now. The cutaway system should work. This is great timing if it does. Aha! That was fast. All right, cool. We've got a process literally running on 2 threads. Look at us. Oh, this is fancy. Let's see if we can slow it down. So let's do like a huge change that will like no doubt like injure the system. Let's do like a big change and see how long it takes. Oh, that was fast. That was like a second or 2. That's so much nicer when there isn't a hang-up. You'll notice the background color changes, right? Oh, that's busted AF. Okay, so there is maybe a slight problem. Huh. It breaks the cutaway. But it does this very quickly. Huh. Okay, I think the cutaway system maybe needs to be its own system now. It's part of the tile system, but I could see that maybe you want the cutaway. Maybe we're just working on the wrong... Cutaway system is interesting. It's interesting how we want that to work. I think we want it to work on the preview. Is that what's currently happening? It should be. There's a bit of an issue there. Maybe that hydrate was a bit too early. No, it's good timing. Diginanigans, you've tried to get into the habit of doing proper branches for stuff, but you're not disciplined enough for it or have any automated systems, so eventually you just end up with a bunch of fragment mains. So you've just given up on trying and decided that the one branch is good enough unless you have an explicit need to deviate from that, such as trying a whole new way of doing something. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. I'm usually only ever working on a branch. Like a jam game will have the main branch, and then like maybe I'll make a post-jam branch. But in that case, in that world, the post-jam branch just is essentially the main branch now. I'm going to need to do that a lot more with this game soon. Especially because we're planning on Lo-Fi Flyby being in the same project. Not an actually distinguished Godot project. It's like, it's in the main project. It's like part of the main project. I have to do some more research about how that works. About trying to like build more than one game from a Godot project. It looks possible. I talked to someone about it who does this kind of stuff, and they said it was, for what I wanted to do, it probably makes the most sense to keep it all in one project. Because otherwise then I'm treating my main game as like a plugin for like another game, and then I have to maintain that. I don't know. Maybe we'll do it that way. I don't like the idea of doing it that way, but eventually we might have to. I'm thinking about how we want to do that. All right, so why is the cutaway system act weird? So it's probably this part. Preview blocks, try get, cursor chords, out, block rooms, rooms. Rooms.hasAny and roombounds.length is greater than 0. If not cursored forms.hasAny. Continue. This is still biting us in the butt, I think. Maybe there's something about changing by drilling a hole in a block in a compartment, and it breaks the cutaway system while it's still in preview. So like that worked pretty easily, but if I do this, it breaks, which shouldn't work because we're not actually committing this change. Like you can still see the light color inside. We don't actually commit that change until we click and release. And now the system knows that this isn't a compartment anymore, so it switches to the other cutaway model. But for some reason, even just threatening to make a hole is freaking out the cutaway system. So that's going to be the bug we fix. But, you know, it's been an hour. But I can share the code and don't have to worry about manually copy step between. Yeah, that's the main argument for building the side project in the same project folder. But I don't know. There's an argument to be said to like treat it as a plugin, because then I can support a particular version. I don't know. I have to think about it more, because then we have like, then we need multiple levels. There's like your entity component system. which should really be treated as a plugin of like the main game, and then the main game could be treated as a plugin of like the side project. And it's like, I want to make sure I get the benefits of further development, but I also don't want to break anything, because I could totally see the case where we just make a bunch of changes to Digital Iliad that would totally mess up Lo-Fi Flyby, and we don't want to actually deal with that. Which we could just not build. Oh, that's awkward. Cutaway system needs some work. Huh. What if I do this? I don't understand what's happening at the edge here. Oh, it didn't happen there. Wait a second. Oh, it's the floor. Is it? No. It's both. It has to be both. If it's one or the other, it doesn't cause this effect. But if it's totally empty, it's causing a crazy effect. Okay. Arneo, in your new version, oh, you're very new to version control, but you never commit anything until it somewhat works. You do so much experimenting, you feel like you should commit stuff that you did just to see how something works. So other stuff you do is simple enough that you haven't needed to go back yet. Yeah, I don't think you really need to worry about it until you're publishing something, really, truly. And you have, like... I think you care a lot more at that point. Rhiannon Journey, this might get you in trouble here. But Olama... Locally, you have it generate the commit messages for you now. You always double check it, but it does a better job than you normally would, and faster, honestly. It's running locally, so it spins up your graphics card for a few minutes intermittently throughout the week. It's not sending code off your network, which is nice. No, I think that's kind of nice. I think documentation is it's really one of the only natural use cases of an LLM is managing like large language. Like, I think language processing it's actually pretty good at. I don't use it yet for that purpose, but who knows? I do want eventually a way of auto-generating like patch notes and stuff. Because as a solo dev, who has time to write these things? Diginanigans, make all your code that's going to be shared between them. So you're essentially your runtime library that doesn't contain explicit game logic, its own plugin. Yeah. And you can update that plugin as needed for both projects. That's what I should do. Problem is, these systems are very tightly coupled to the actual game requirements. And it's like, how much do I actually want to separate that? Like, I know I should separate my ECS from my implementation of my ECS. Like, I should separate the stuff that makes the ECS work from, like, here's your list of systems and your list of components. But the thing is, the list of components is in the component class. So it's like, what you want? So you want a component class, and then you're going to, list the components separately somewhere else? It's like, well, yeah, we probably should do that, but it's annoying. It's annoying to decide where that line should be drawn. But I do want to use this tech on more than one game, so I should probably draw that line somewhere. What was the thing I was going to try? I was going to try to remove that one troublesome line and see what happens. And then I swear we're going to do our retrospective. I was hoping more people would show up, but, this is for posterity, so it's okay. It's okay that it's a quieter today. We've had some bigger stream days, and luckily I've been, pretty energized for them, but I've lately been tired and I've lately been tired and in back pain and all that stuff. So it's like, I don't mind a little more chill. All right. So I think this line is causing us immense trouble, and I'm just going to see what happens if we just get rid of it. I don't understand what its purpose is, but we'll see. It probably has a pretty important role. But I want to see if it resolves this problem for us. So what if I erase this? Aha, okay, so that was causing the problem. Because a temporary preview change... Oh, that's weird. Why does that still look like that? It's not erasing the back wall. Not really. What is that? Oh, it's just a perfect... I see, never mind. It is erasing the back wall. It just looks perfect. All right, well, this is sick. We've got the tile system running on a different thread than our more involved processes like flood fill. So we can run these. So we get instant feedback on like building things, and then the longer process, which is determining the flood fill and everything like that, that has its like couple of seconds to run, which is all it really needs. Super cool. That's awesome. That solves a lot of optimization issues that I didn't want to deal with. And it's like super seamless. The cutaway system is still behaving a little weirdly, but I think I can live with it for now. Nix, you can't wait for episode 2048, where the whole 3-hour stream will be only looking back to earlier episodes. Episode 2048 would be like, by my reckoning, that would be like 6 years from now or something like that. Is that right? Or did I wildly underestimate that? I thought it would take me about 4 years to get to episode 1024. But I'm saying episode 512 would probably be in a year and a half. Oh man, it might actually be longer. Yeah, I don't know when we're gonna I don't know if we're gonna get to episode 2048. Yeah, that's fast. That is fast. We are cooking here with our flood fill. Look at that. That was like a second. It's amazing how you don't notice how slow it is when it's just running on another thread and you can still get your visual updates. It felt so slow when everything else was hanging waiting for it, even though it was only a second or two. Great. Love it. Love to see it. Huge. That's huge. So now when we add the block validation step to it too, it'll add another second or two, and it's like, we won't notice. It'll be fine. It'll be at edit time. Cool. So that's a nice, we fixed that. That feels really great. Now that only the most hardcore people are here, let's do it. Let's do the look back. Let me adjust myself so that I'm in slightly less pain. Oh, I was going to take something. I'll do it after. Now you can say the game is multi-threaded. It is multitasking. I'm multitasking. It's pretty good. All right, let's see. We're going to do this without audio. Just FYI. Oh, look at us. We're live. Oh, and some people are watching. So let's go. Maybe we go to the playlist. It's probably the easiest way to find this. And let's go back to the Wayback Machine. Here we go. Episode 128. Where is it at? We're still scrolling. How long ago was this? Episode 128, 8 months ago. Let's bring it up. I've done this before, and it's like crashed my stream setup, so let's turn the quality down. It hasn't crashed it, but it caused like a crazy feedback loop with OBS. Where it was like, what, you want to stream YouTube and watch YouTube at the same time? You're crazy. So we're going to watch from here. There's no audio. If I feel like there's a part that I might be interested in listening to, we'll turn the audio on. It's just I'm also going to be playing background music in this video. So let's see. You have a search function that's channel specific. Look. That's just still just a binary search under the hood, okay? I don't know. All right, let's see. Let's see what's going on. Episode 128. When was this aired? 100 people looked at it. This was streamed live on January 15th of this year. So, January 15th. Yeah, we were just coming out of Entity Component System development, I think. I think that's what we were doing. People are going to be like, why is this guy watching his own videos? Oh, look at this handsome man. Look at this lack of beard. I get like this. Oh, but you didn't shave the neck, man. Come on. Maybe I was trying to grow it. I go back and forth constantly about the beard. I hate it. Then I'm like, you know what I hate more than having a beard is shaving. And then I just grow the beard back. Oh, this was back when I was not listening to music. There's no headphones on my ears. That's kind of nice. We did not have music playing on stream. Hey, bad cop. This is our... Oh, and look at this. We got the window going. So, this is episode 250. Yeah, Digital Iliad reacts to Digital Iliad. This is episode 256. So, anytime we hit a Power of 2 episode, we like to go back and look at our last Power of 2 episode. And I've got the infinity shot that I was going for. It's not infinite. It would be really great if we like scrubbed to where in episode 64 we looked at episode 32. But we got 128 we're playing, and then during episode 128 we're looking back at episode 64, which was 5 months before this one, which was 8 months ago. So that would have been probably August, maybe, or September of 2024. That's probably when episode 64 was. Yeah, the headphones missing is weird. This feels like that Bo Burnham sketch where he reacts to himself and then he reacts to himself reacting to himself. Yeah. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, there he is. Look at this progression of beard. I swear it didn't take a year and a half to grow this beard. We've grown and trimmed this beard like 4 or 5 times since. That's good. If I still have hair by episode like 1024, I will be shocked. It's a struggle. Okay, so look at this. Look at what's going on in here. Do you see these like squares? This was our original. This wasn't being auto-tiled. So what's showing on the screen here, this like pile of blocks, it's probably really hard to see. This is hand placed. I guess there's still some kind of tiling system determining what to draw. Because we are able to do walls, but we're not able to link the floor pieces. So let's see a little bit more of what's going on here. The beard progress. This is, yeah, no, that's so silly because it takes like 6 weeks to grow this beard. Not 16 months. You were working on the level editor back then? I think this was the initial version of the cutaway. You can kind of see what I'm doing. Oh, and you can see my following. Look at this dance of mice. That was funny. These 3 mice just going around. Yeah, so this is an early implementation of the cutaway system, it looks like. It looks like it's locked to 1 Z level. It also is cutting the floors out, which is weird. You ever think about how you're halfway to the next React episode? Yeah, I do. I do. If I'm still working on the level editor when we hit episode 512, you'll never hear from me again. I'll just disappear. Oh, we hit a bug. Oh no. We hit an error. All right. Is this going to be the end of the look back in a minute? Okay, it is. Oh, we're going to talk about, I think we're talking about switching. Oh, this is all back when it was written in GDScript. So yeah, the episode 64 is old. This was back when the tile map was the authoritative holder of the blocks. There was no ECS, there was no intermediary. There was just, everything was per block, not per face. I don't know what I'm zooming in on. I'm looking at this. We're talking about my insane combinatorics of trying to do everything per block. That's good. That's classic. You like how in that episode the level was more ship-like, and now your levels are just squares because you probably got tired of drawing. Yeah, I got so sick of trying to lay out ship stuff for testing purposes. Those blueprints look awesome. This was a really fun, really pointless exercise in diagramming. All it did was show me how bad the problem was. I am doing some ship layout stuff in my free time. I haven't worked on it recently, but I'm building like a Firefly-esque layout. Diginanigans, you think I'm going to finish the editor at episode 510? All right, we'll see. We'll see. If I don't, you can take over. All right, are we done? Are we done with the retrospective of episode 64? It's too bad we didn't seem to look at episode 32 and episode 64. We probably did, and past me just didn't do anything about it. What am I doing here? Am I talking about Ludum Dare? Is this before I ever did Ludum Dare? Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, no, this was when they announced the cancellation. I forgot that this was just the beginning of 2015. Oops. And what are we looking at? We're looking at 4.4. See, this wasn't that long ago. This was just earlier this year. This was just January 15th, 2025. Bad Cop, you'll think I'll finish the editor in episode 257? Well, don't maybe bet anything on that. We should have a betting pool. Yeah, we should probably have a betting pool. I think you could argue a lot about what qualifies as done. All right, I want to see where we're at. Let's see where we're at. Who cares? Who cares about UUIDs or whatever? Let's boot up the project. Come on past me. Let's boot it up. Handsome past me. You seem to have a better lighting setup than I do now. I'm feeling very shiny by comparison. All right, we're booting it up. What are we doing? What are we working on? Okay, we're packing data. This function has like not changed at all. Yeah, I've been working on the editor since 2015, Bad Cop. That's the secret. I'm slightly more yellow than past Dave. Yeah, I don't know why. I must have changed my lights a little. I probably added a little more warm. Okay, here we go. Look at our little editor back when it was constrained to 15 by 15. I thought that was sufficient. Otherwise, this isn't that different. We've got our 3 block types. No door support. We've added door support sometime in the last 128 episodes. Otherwise, this looks pretty similar. Block volume. Oh, shit. So are we still just doing everything per block? There's no way. Block volume. I guess we just don't have separate layers or separate level groups. Oh yeah, we have the line layers. No, we are doing everything per face. Can you use my level editor for Cave Room 2? Oh yeah, you got it. We were earlier just talking about how I need to start like pluginifying all my like tools and stuff so that I can use this tech outside of this particular game. I don't feel hugely motivated to do that until we can get like C# in the web. You support export to GLTF. Let me get right on that. Let me get right on that. Let me figure out how you can like greedy mesh off of my like voxelized tile map layers. It's gotten less busy visually. Yeah, isn't that kind of nice? We were talking, Diginanigans and I were talking about grid lines and stuff today. And I've tried doing grid line stuff before. We've tried it a couple different ways. I don't love it. I'm gonna jump ahead here a little bit. We're gonna just draw stuff. I don't know what I'm drawing. I'm just clicking these things for some reason. Oh, I was working on the palette. I think I'm making the different visual variants for the palette to an extent. And we're placing them. And it seems to be working. All right, let's jump ahead a little. Let's see what else we were doing. Oh, we're making rooms. This is gonna be funny. I think you're gonna see a feature that we just re-added. I hope I don't do this in one stroke, but I might. I assume I actually have to individually draw these walls. Can I just click, drag, click box? Oh my god, look at that. We just added that back in. We had that 128 episodes ago. And it took us work to add this tool back in. You can use your editor to make Battlefield 6 levels now? You could. Next, one cool thing that would be cool is if you save a version of the game every time you hit some goal, so you can go back when the game is finished, show the different versions. That could be cool. No, I don't think we had doors. Oh no, look! There's a door! How did I even get that to... That's not even in the tool. How did I get a door to show up? Oh shoot, I'm rotating the camera. I'm rotating the camera 90 degrees. It was super subtle, but I just did it like 3 or 4 times and nothing broke. Oh no. Not the past version of the editor being better than the current editor. That's horrible. I was just casually rotating the camera and I'm like, this doesn't break anything. Don't worry about it. Now if I try to rotate the camera, everything falls apart. Technically, since you commit per stream, you could go back to these days and rerun the code. I could. That would be a fun exercise. That would be a fun exercise. I think for now, I don't mind just watching this. I'm really upset that I just casually started rotating the game board. I still haven't solved the problems related to that. What the hell is this? Oh, someone's talking about waves. What are we talking about here? We're just talking about stuff. I'm doing stuff in the code. Editing the code. All right, let me see something. Show me something. Show me something I don't know. Here's me just placing stuff. How did I place a door? There's no door space in the palette. You know, I probably have it on a number key or something. Oh, it's hiding the... Oh, that's concerning. That's an issue. That's something I probably just was resolving after this. Well, this is silly and mildly embarrassing by how much better the editor was back then in some ways. Oh, the auto tiler's messed up. We're missing some... The casual camera rotation I cannot deal with. I'll be really upset if I see it again. Camera rotation is non-trivial. Okay, I think that's it. I think that's all I demo. We were just getting, it looks like we were just getting the block palette set up. The flood fill is not working. So we got that going for us now. Okay, well that was fun. And a little embarrassing maybe. Well, presumably you add stuff which has to be accounted for in the camera rotation, so it will always break until all the features have been added. I should fix it. Camera rotation's easier though, as you have a limited 15 by 15 area with bounds. Yeah, the issue that came up is the way the things rotate around now. It's more, yeah, there's a lot more going on spatially, and I have not fixed the matrix math governing that yet. Because it's been pretty low. I've had pretty low motivation to work on that particular part. But that was fun. That's what we looked at. That's what we were doing in episode 128. We had a room making tool that we only just re-implemented like 5 to 10 episodes ago. And we had camera rotation, which is not working anymore. Yeah, I just need to sit down and do it. I've been lazy about doing it. What I want to do first is I want to finish. I want to change some presumptions about the game world, about the boundaries of the world. And I think that is going to have a big impact on the camera rotation, so I've been kind of waiting a little bit. But we're getting there. The day is coming. I've improved the architecture. True. True. To an extent. All right, what are we doing? I'm actually not sure what we're supposed to be doing now. Oh yeah, so all of this stuff I was laying down is the foundation for doing a block validation system. That's what we need. I know I should call this like a real name. I'm going to call this the CERT system temporarily. Just because all my systems have 4-letter names right now. And I'm going to change that. We're going to make an edit system group, and then we're going to put all of these. We're going to nest some systems in that group, and I'm going to change the system grouping stuff. But for now, all we're going to do, and I need to stop doing this where I just start dropping new systems next to the systems that, here we go, block validation system. We're going to rename you. A cert system. Because it like certifies that the blocks are like in an okay place. That's what I'm going with right now. So it's going to have a buffer of invalid blocks. Is this buffer... This is a chord buffer v3i. Okay. That's great. So this is kind of like we're just making a list of invalid blocks. It's a little more complicated than that, but not really. This is something that's owned by the edit system group. So what we're going to eventually do here is you're going to see... So the fill system will run... Does the cert system depend on the fill system? No. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to set up those tasks in parallel, I think. Because I think they both just read off of the same stuff, and the stuff the fill system writes to is not the same as what the cert system writes to. So I think we can do something like that. Do we want them both to have finished? I think we do. Maybe we should put those all in one sync task. Let me look at the task docs. Every time I need to use the C# tasks thing, I'm like, hold on, let me remember how this works. Arnio, shouldn't you demo the current version for the next Power of 2 episode? That's what we did for like the first hour of the stream while I was debugging. We demoed enough of it, but yeah, you need to make sure. I need to make sure to do that. We already did that. All right, so what I need to do, we're going to have some task creation options. Huh. Do I want to do the deny child attach? What I want to do is the attachment thing is, it's not totally, it's not exactly what I'm trying to do. I just want these two tasks to run unrelatedly to each other, which is maybe how it works by default. Let's see. I can do the parallel invoke. Right now, I'm doing it explicitly like this by like making a new task. Essentially. What I want to do, I don't want to wait. I kind of want one task that both of these functions are part of, but I want these subtasks to run in parallel. I don't want them to depend on each other, and I just need to figure out exactly the phrasing for that, because that is not something I ever remember. Guys are talking to me about UI culture. Task continuations, I think, what I'm talking about. No, that's okay. That's the opposite of what I'm talking about. That's a task that has an antecedent task that needs to finish first. Really cool seeing the progress jumps. You think you started following me around the last update? I think you've been watching for almost exactly a year. That's awesome, Diginanigans. Appreciate that. Time flies. So I don't actually want this to be a continuation. So what I want instead... I don't want to chain creating detached child task. That's essentially what I want to do. I think. I don't want to just spin. When the user code that's running in a task creates a new task and doesn't specify the attached to parent option, the new task isn't synchronized with the parent task in any special way. This type of non-synchronized task is called a detached nested task or detached child task. The following example shows a task that creates one detached child task. Oh, interesting. Outer task beginning, outer task completed, detached task completed. Okay, that's not exactly what I want. I want 2 child tasks that are attached to the parent, in that the parent task doesn't finish until they finish. But what I don't want is I don't want those children to depend on each other at all. So I do want to run it with the attached to parent option. It's an attached child task. I want the parent task to implicitly wait for all attached child tasks to finish. Is that what I want? This is where I should be diagramming things, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to kind of nebulously think about it until I kind of think I feel like I have an idea of what we're doing. Because I actually don't want... Because the way this is written now, there is like an edit system task, I think, that's running. Is that right? No, there isn't an overall edit system task. This is just running all the time. The main system only runs one at a time. And in fact, the main system should probably have attached child tasks. But there's an element to this that I don't actually want. So I want the fill task. Here's what I want. I want a task, not called the fill task. I want it called like the edit task or something like that. Maybe. Maybe I'll call it like a sync task. And it's like all the task stuff that runs when we do a sync. And that task is detached from its parent, the main task, because the sync is happening in the background. The main task wants to run some things all the time. It wants to run like the tool system or the view system. It wants to run all this other stuff all the time. But this sync task is its own thing. So let's make that. Let's make that. And this task will have 2 subtasks. One will be the fill task for the flood fill, and the other will be the cert for the block certification. And those tasks are attached to the sync task, but the sync task is not attached to anything. That's important, because that one is being run in parallel. So we can say sync task equals task factory start new. Do I have to specify the attachment? And if so, where? New task, task factory, start new, X. Task no. CTR. Task creation options dot attached to parent. That's what I want to do. So this is a new task. It's going to be... There's going to be this task. Task creation options attached to parent. And then we want We also want the cert task. Actually, we don't really need to name this anything, do we? We can just say this. I don't think we need to store that anywhere. Nix, today is actually doubly special. It's not just the 256th episode of Digital Iliad. It's also the 15th year since MLP G4 came out. So that's pretty cool. Okay. What is that? Why do I feel so blown out by the lights today? I don't know why. If I turn that down, maybe there's just too much lighting. It's very dark in here, so I think the lights are having like an outsized effect. So we'll do basically the same thing as this. I'm going to say game.cert system, which doesn't exist. Maybe this is the trick. We can put this stuff in here. Truly a day to celebrate. Oh, geez, Nix. Making me look this up. The heck is this? All right. Rhiannon Journey, you think to celebrate I should factor of 2 my current Yeah, we need a factor of 2 on the RimWorld mods count. Well, for me that's easy because I'm using 0 mods. I would like to do more Let's Plays of like Void War and RimWorld and stuff. The thing is, it takes away a productive day and nobody watches them. But it's still something I should just do for fun sometimes. But there is ultimately some reality. Episode 250,000. Yeah, I don't know. I think if we do get to a point someday where I'm streaming 2 episodes a day, I think we'll start to see that number go crazy. If I end up doing like 10 episodes a week or something like that, but that's still pretty moderate growth, I guess. All right, we're going to try this. We're going to try to set this up like this. So we're going to make a task with 2 subtasks. And then all we have to do is check the overall task. So do I maybe have this wrong? Do these buffers actually need to be on here? Well, here's a problem. We can't just do this the way that I wrote it. That's okay. We can do Let's Plays once the project is finished. Yeah, true. I do enjoy doing them. Like, I had fun playing Void War. But that's because you can fit, like, a whole Void War run into, like, a stream. RimWorld's a little harder because RimWorld, you get 4 hours into RimWorld and you're like, all right, now we're getting started. Now we're getting cooking here. We got past the intro. I think that kind of a game is harder to do Let's Plays for. Because it's like, here's my RimWorld Let's Play. We're 8 hours in and we've barely gotten through the early game. Yeah, I don't think we're going to hit 250,000 episodes. I think you're right, Nix. I think the math is not on our side. But we can try. We can try. All right. I'm feeling pretty unfocused, if I'm being honest, which is why I'm kind of just staring at things. I guess we just run this and see if this kind of works. I'm really concerned that these two tasks are going to block each other by default, but I think as what I read is that by default they're actually going to just run in parallel. Let's just make sure the flood fill is still working. The answer is no, it's not. I think, unless this is making a difference, which it might. Oh yeah, that made a difference. I forgot diagonal seals are needed. Okay, well that's still working. So we can just add that to it. That's slick. I was worried I was going to have to optimize my flood fill, which I did not want to have to do at this point. And now we don't. Now we don't need to do it because it's not blocking anything anymore. Pretty slick. Feels pretty slick. Four hours? That's just laying down the layout of the base. You haven't even pressed the play button. Yeah, exactly, exactly. You spend that first 4 hours just in the planner mode, right? It's actually kind of a problem. Like, I'm having that problem in Foundation now where I, like, start a new Foundation settlement, and I know enough about the system that I get paralyzed, like, analyzing what I could do. And my increasing knowledge of the game is interfering with my ability to just sit down and enjoy it, which is a shame. All right. Well, our task factory is doing it. Now we have to do the easy part, right? Which is to write out the certification. And what I'm realizing now is we can't actually have... We can't actually have this on just this one thing here. It can't be on the cert system. This fun little buffer loop thing. This needs to be on... This unfortunately... I think this needs to be on the main to the preview blocks and the settled blocks, because it works by the same principle where the cert system will write on the settled blocks, and then that will be projected back to the preview blocks so that we can see the cert live. Maybe that matters. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe we don't actually need to do it that way. I think it's good principle to do it this way. The alternative being we're just like raw dogging this buffer that's being written to and read in parallel with no safety checks. And I think for the cert, that would be fine because the cert is just like a color. It's just a mask that says, hey, this is valid or not. I think we should probably put it here, though. I'm thinking. I'm thinking that would be the more responsible thing to do. I think it's fine to do it this way. That's one of the best parts of RimWorld, thinking about all the possibilities and crazy combos you can do. Yeah. If you don't have at least 3 different Excel sheets open just to play the game, then you're not playing it right. That ruins games so quickly for me. As soon as I get into an optimization mindset like that, and I get serious about it. All right, do we care? Do we care about this? So, like, what's the worst thing that can happen? We have this buffer. Oh, the buffer is going to get resized if we do it this way. That would create a problem. We don't want to be resizing the buffer while we're reading and writing to it. So yeah, I guess it's not going to be done like this. Okay. What about Factorio? Factorio is... I don't know. Factorio, I feel like I can't even engage in playing that game until I've looked up and read, like, here's the, like, belt to, like, smelter count. Like, here's the number of smelters that will fill a belt, and, like, here's how much resources they're consuming. And, like, I get so obsessed with that production line stuff. I've been trying to enjoy Foundation as, like, a medieval, like, very organic city builder. I've been trying to just roll with it, but it feels like the more I understand the system, the harder time I do that, because I have a harder time suspending my desire to optimize it. All right, so I think the weird thing that we're going to do here is we're going to just add another buffer here. And I think cert is just going to be a Boolean value, and it will start as false. And then the cert system approves all of the blocks that seem valid, rather than what I was planning on doing, which is just adding failing blocks to, like, a separate thing. I think here we're going to have it be like, so we need a new buffer component then. I guess we're going to make a buffer and just call it block valid buffer. 3D. Rhiannon Journey, you don't look at Factorio content anymore because you know it would consume your life and you cannot have that. Yeah. Bad cop. Factorio only captures you long enough to, like, launch the rocket. That's winning the game. After that, you're like, yeah, you can stop playing now. You should try the... Yeah, okay, you're like, I'm afraid to buy the DLC. Yeah. Because the rocket launch is, like, the beginning of the DLC. That's table stakes. Yeah, I haven't played the DLC either, I'm afraid. I've watched it, it looks cool. There aren't a lot of games that pull me in nowadays. Like, Foundation was nice because I played it like a whole weekend, and now I'm playing it still a little bit during the week. But I, like, went hard into it, and it was really nice to have a game that I, like, wanted to play, that I felt like the need to play. That happens to me less and less nowadays. I have a harder and harder time building up the enthusiasm needed to, like, really get into a game. Block forms. This is just going to be a block valid. Put this in the block folder. block valid. I mean, honestly, this could just be a bool. Do we actually need to make a thing? Couldn't it just be a bool? I guess right now it could just be a bool. But what if it someday becomes other than a bool? You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm not gonna care right now. I think. Well, A, what did this break? What did I just break here? I don't think I did anything. I don't think I did anything wrong. I think the editor is being weird. Oh, that'll do it. I did it. Yeah, I don't think I actually need, I think I can just say bool here. I don't know why I'm hash coding the length. I should probably go just off of the buffer ID. Oh, we got a spam bot. Bad copy to the space exploration mod before the DLC came out. Everyone's in ads, so I will continue to respond. To shenanigans, you spent an hour on Wednesday just creating 4 characters for Baldur's Gate 3. I think that's pretty cool. I liked your characters. I want to play that game. I'm telling you, I want to do it. But it just feels like there are these barriers. Arneo, it used to be like that with Path of Exile. Planning the character was more fun than playing the game for you. More than anything else, you just found out you're not very good at the whole Excel sheet thing, so the characters never really worked in the end game. Found out you're more of a role player than a strategist. I think that's reasonable. Reminds me of the people who play VG3 and quit after the character creation. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, Nix. We'll ban this. We'll ban this person. No, I want to take another swing on BG3. I'm going to try to play it the way that we played D&D. I'm going to try to be like thoughtless and just kind of just YOLO my way through every fight and just kind of play for like stupid things. Just be an idiot. Just be a Dungeons and Dragons player. I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to try to tackle. I'm really trying to tackle these games in a very casual way. And I know they're games that can get like really deep. Like obviously BG3 can go crazy. All right, we're going to ban this person. Get ready. Kill everyone you see. Yeah, I'm talking about a typical BG3 murder hobo thing. No, I'm not. I don't think I'd actually do that. All right, ready the photon torpedoes. Get wrecked.
He's dead, Jim.
No, I'm actually kind of like I'm like the trivially nice person in those RPGs. Like, I have a hard time being mean to people in RPGs. Especially when the game is judging me for it. And I know if I want to maintain a particular kind of party, I also have to maintain a particular kind of alignment. So that's like the part that I do prep for. I'm like, okay, which of the companions am I interested in? What are their alignments? I guess I just have to play that. Play as Dark Urge. I would like to try a Dark Urge run. I think that would have to be a second run. I think playing an evil run as my first run in Baldur's Gate 3 would be insane. Because I feel like I wouldn't understand the space I'm playing with until I see the, like, normal goody two-shoes ending or whatever. It's tough. No, you would understand? Okay. Yeah, that's what I was getting into with my first character. I was giving into the Dark Urge. It seemed bad. It seemed like everything was getting bad. It seemed like that was a bad idea. All right, let's add these buffers here. All right, I kind of want to make a wrapper. I don't know why. I'm not going to do it though. Sounds like the song sounds like a commercial for like a community college. Like here at Greendale. Here at Greendale Community College. Be the you that you see behind the mirror. I don't know. I don't know what people say to encourage people to go. Nix, you still have to finish BG3. It's pretty dark, Bad Cop. Yeah, it seems pretty dark. Dark Urge seemed pretty dark. Nix, you played it twice. You stopped at the end of Act 3 in both. Oh. Around the end. Arneo, you weren't going to go evil on your first run, but you love the voice actor of Asterion so much. You kept wanting to please him, which actually pulled you into a few massacres. That's so funny. You're stuck in Act 2 twice. You think you need to kill the whole party? Jeez. You do some of the evil options in your honor mode run because it's easier? Okay. Sometimes it is easier to be evil. That should be a big point of it, right? Life is easier when you are being evil. Yeah, I don't know. You metacame pretty hard. You're scared to lose the file. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, because you're doing, like, honor mode. You're, like, hardcore. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I had a thought. It's gone. I have a hard time having initiative in those kinds of games. Sometimes I feel like your own personality gets overshadowed by the personalities of your RPG companions. Diginanigans, as long as you aren't multiclassing, you keep the stats it suggests. You think it's pretty hard to make a terrible character. That's good. Just pick whatever sounds interesting, and then picks whatever companions are the most interesting. Just make sure you have somebody who can heal. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. If you get 50 hours in, you get a bit nervous. I hate that stuff. I hate those long games that can just end, and you're like, time to re-roll the campaign. Like, I don't like that XCOM style. Too bad. The original Darkest Dungeon could be like that. Or you could like lose some parties and you're like, wow, do I want to redo this like 30 to something hour like rebuild for this B team so they can be A team material? But yeah, the thing about the personality thing, I feel like a lot of RPG main characters are like blank slates. Do you want to join your jam team? You lost all your programmers. You're still 10x more programmer than I am, so I don't know how I would help. How I would help your jam team. Which jam is that for? Is that for the little doctor games jam? Is that still going? But yeah, I end up subsuming my personality in a lot of these games to just be pleasing my companions. That's like my whole personality in these party RPGs, which I think is terrible. I call that the Boba Fett effect. Which, if you've seen the Boba Fett show that came out, he basically has no personality and just agrees with all of his much smarter than him companions. He has like no independent thought. He's just like, I'm just down for whatever the Mando suggests, or like my crazy Imperial assassin friend, who's my best friend now for some reason. Like, oh, but you're also director. Yeah, you're doing Cave Rim too. Nice. Yeah, that sounds tough. Boba Fett was such a nothing character in the originals too. Yeah, I mean, he was just a mask, right? And it was okay because he wasn't, they didn't want him to like carry an entire show. But then they asked him to carry an entire show and it turns out there's nothing there. There could have been something there. Instead, he was like really dumb and would just kind of go along with what anyone else would say. And it's like, that's kind of me playing an RPG. I'm just like, I'm just here to have a good time, man. Whatever you want to do, that's what I want to do. And it kind of makes it weird to play these RPGs. All right, I'm working on stuff. So we got our block valid buffer. We're gonna make those. In the cert system, we're gonna go through. There's gonna be some logic. That helps us with that. Fill system. Is there anything in here that we care about? I guess we need to pull out the buffer. I don't think we care about the rooms, but we definitely care about the care about the forms. Definitely care about the forms. And then the other thing we probably care about is the block valid. Over 3D read write. Bool. Game.world. Why did I do this way? It's a little weird. What's happening? There we go. Just noticed that was a weird parenthesis structure here. All right. Arneo, why not a BG3 run where you explicitly try to displease people and get them off your party? Could be a way to make you more assertive. Jango Fett was a crazy character. Yeah, Jango Fett was just an obstacle on the way to Samuel L. Jackson looking cool. Diginanigans, all your personal playthroughs are usually honor mode runs. If you die, it's just an opportunity to try a new set of classes. That's crazy. That's crazy. But you're also pretty hardcore. Your character lists in the Discord were pretty impressive. So do we want to do the block validation clear, probably? Yeah, probably. So what we'll do is we'll clear block valid.clear. And then what we're going to do is we'll get into it. And we'll iterate through everybody. I need to decide how the iteration is going to use. Should we do this calculate used bounds thing? So that we only bother to validate solid block. Yeah, we probably should. We should probably just have this same function. Honestly, I should probably put this function somewhere. This should be tied to something. I don't know what. Maybe it's a function of a buffer, maybe? I don't know. I want to put this somewhere as a helper function. Just so you can like pass in a buffer and be like, what part of this buffer is actually being used? Maybe this is a block forms helper function. So I could just be like block forms.calculate used bounds. Maybe it should be a block. I don't know. I'll figure that out. But I definitely want to do that. Isn't it not even his dad? Boba Fett is one of the clones that Jango raised. Yes. Boba Fett was just a clone where they like didn't artificially age him up fast. So he got to have like the regular lifespan. He wasn't like rapidly aged up or whatever. Shinzan style. Yeah, forget the Boba Fett show. We should have gotten a Jango Fett show. It would have been just fine. It's another equally nothing character. We were talking about subscriptions yesterday, about how all the subscriptions we have and about how they cost so much money and we should try to get rid of some of them. I'm genuinely considering getting rid of... I have like an HBO, Hulu, Disney Plus bundle. I have that bundle. I don't remember what it is. It's like $30 a month or something like that. I don't remember. It might not even be that much. But it's like, I'm so meh on what the kind of shit that's showing up on Disney Plus nowadays. I used to be pretty good. I used to watch all the Disney, all the Star Wars, all the Marvel. And now it comes out and I'm like, I don't care. If I do care, maybe I'll see it in theater or I'll like rent it or something. But it's incredible. I've gone from like watching everything they put out to like watching literally none of it. I think I need to trim. I think those are some of the subscriptions I could trim. Hulu, I'm having second thoughts about just because I think Futurama's on there, but Futurama might also be on Netflix. But yeah, I'm gonna try to be good. This all kind of started because of the crazy Microsoft Game Pass price hike, which I think I'm gonna stick with. I'm gonna stick with that one, but it's making me think about all my other subscriptions. All right, so what we're thinking here, so we do this cert system. And what we need to do is we essentially need to iterate through every block and do some kind of invalidation check, which I think means just we set the bool to be like true unless we encounter some issue with it. Thing is, I'm not totally sure what that list of... I'm not totally sure what that list of conditions is. Oh god, I'm just closing stuff. I needed that one. Man, my brain is mush. Is the view system just not even running nowadays? Oh, it's the ready function, which does it not have? It should. It should have a ready. It's so easy to accidentally click on things. We'll just give it an empty ready function. Because the main system is responsible for the edit system and the view system right now. I could probably set these up as tasks. Actually, I need the view system to run before the edit system, huh? So this is actually the correct way to set this up. I think. I think I set it up in that order for a reason. I believe. I choose to believe. So then we get to our edit system. Now we get to our search system. And now I can't really avoid the problem anymore, which is that I'm actually not sure what the conditions are. All right, let's find somewhere to put this calculate used bounds. Maybe it's just get used bounds and we can put it on a buffer. And then each buffer can kind of figure it out for its own case. So like the thing is, I don't want to... I think we'll have it be a static function that you can pass in. Let's do it after our... Let's do it here. So let's say like public static AABB get used bounds. Actually, I guess this would be... Oh no, it's static though. Get used bounds. We can say buffer 3D read only block forms buffer. And then we'll just put this function in here. I appreciate everyone hanging out here on this fine Friday. We're almost at the weekend. This is my one weekend I don't really have anything going on, which means it's got to be an exciting weekend full of cleaning and hopefully not doing very much. It's still pretty decent weather, so I should probably try to get to the beach or something before this late summer weather ends. So we always get a very late summer here. All right. So now we have a get used bounds function that we can say block forms buffer 3D dot get used bounds, and we can pass in the buffer. I want to do that just because I don't want to have to get the span again. I don't want to have to get the buffer again, essentially. Can we actually, does it need to be on here though? Could it actually be on, could it actually be on the buffer read only or be a buffer read write? And it just be locked to type T? Actually, I think it could, huh? Let's just do that. That seems like a reasonable thing to do. Say public static. Can we say public static AABB get used bounds? We can just say, is this the read write or read only? This is the read only. Buffer 3D read only T. Buffer. Can we just do this with a type of T? It's going to require that T implements has only, so maybe that doesn't work. That actually looks like it doesn't work. Unless we want to define T more strictly, which at the moment I don't really want to. Ocean Beach or the Weird Nudist Beach? Oh, you know it, the Weird Nudist Beach. That's my beach. That's my neighborhood beach. Baker Beach, y'all. If you want to get really weird, you keep going up around Baker Beach to Marshall Beach, which you normally can't access due to tides. You have to usually go up and over and then back down to get to Marshall Beach, but that one is crazy. But yeah, Baker Beach is the best. Only the north end of Baker Beach is considered a nudist beach. The south end of Baker Beach is like family friendly. You don't judge, you were at Folsom? Yep. Folsom is a sight to perceive. I went to a few of those when I first moved to San Francisco, and I was like, wow, what a city we live in. What freedom we have. You think you've only gone to North Baker on accident one time? Yeah, I mean, you just start walking towards the bridge. Everyone knows this beach because this is the beach from which all photos of the Golden Gate Bridge are taken. Where everyone takes their wedding photos. You walk on the beach, you were like, oh, I see. I did not know this was here. Yeah. Yeah. Gotta go back sometime. It's pretty great. It's like a 15-minute walk from my apartment. So I try to go down and just kind of hang out when the weather permitting, but weather is usually not permitting. It's usually very windy. All right, so I can't do this because what I would need to do is I would need to be able to say buffer span has any. And I cannot guarantee that I can do that. So I guess we're not putting it there. It would have been nice if I had done that. You were at Ocean Beach a couple weekends ago? Oh, cool. That beach is so crazy. It is so huge, and it is usually so windy. There was an event where a bunch of people dug a hole and then did wrestling matches in the hole. Oh, that's fun. That's also usually where, like, the running of the corgis occurs. There's, like, usually a big corgi gathering there every once in a while. Just fun. But yeah, Ocean Beach, it's like if Baker Beach is usually not weather permitting, Ocean Beach is like never weather permitting. It is like getting blasted by sand and brine and salt. Most of the time. So I don't go there very often. But yeah, Baker Beach is my shit. All right, I have totally lost the thread in terms of being productive, and I think that's okay. So we've decided to put this on the block forms buffer 3D, which means I also need to put it on. Is it possible that I can put this on iBuffer 3D component? Maybe that's where I do it. Because here, I can actually confirm... Oh no, again, we have T, and T is not guaranteed to have these things. Well, rip. Okay, that's fine. I wanted to not have to store this everywhere, but it looks like we're just storing this everywhere. Oh, not there, though. Oh, no, yeah, there. It's kind of stupid you have to pass the buffer in. Otherwise, you would need to just get the buffer, and I don't really want to do that. Not if I already have it. There's no real point in getting it again. You know, I think eventually this is not going to be necessary very often, because what I want to do eventually is actually alter the boundaries of the buffers to size. I want to like right size them. But we're obviously not going to do that all the time during edit mode. That would be something we do when we like save it out. So this is still relevant for here for now. I think I want that function here as well. Wherever I put it. Right there. Right, block rooms has got to has any. Oh wait, why did I put that on the valid, block valid? That makes literally no sense. Take that off of there. And in fact, I actually think I only want this on the forms. I actually don't think I want it on this one. I think that's the only system that's going to need to do that regularly. So here what we're going to do, so like the fill system, which has this calculate used bounds, which we're going to get rid of because we don't need that anymore. What we can do instead is we can say block forms buffer 3D dot get used bounds, and we pass in this buffer. Cool. Now we're going to do the similar thing here. All right, so the way we're going to do this, we're just going to iterate through everything. Oh man, this is going to be crazy. I need to actually start thinking about all the conditions in which a block would be invalid. Some obvious ones are like, if the block is not touching any other block, that's invalid because it's like an orphan block. So that's easy. And I think we can say that anywhere. I think that's just a fine thing to say. The thing, though, that's more complicated is what if you have a group of blocks and another group of blocks and they don't touch? Well, then you need to pick one of those groups to be like the primary group or something like that. Which kind of goes into the rebuilding the buffer or right-sizing the buffer. I think we need to like... We can use... So when you're building blocks... So when you're building blocks, we can set like an origin or something like that. This shouldn't crash, will it? Chunk indices. Add empty buffer. I know what happened. This is a problem that we ran into before. I should remember how to fix this. This is me like making some new stuff and not actually fixing it. That should fix that particular problem. No? Component types, component.size, size, component types, component size. Block valid buffer size 32. What's the problem? Given key block valid buffer 3D was not present. No, of course it wasn't present in the dictionary. I never do this. I never completely... Whenever I need to make a new component, I never do it right. I just don't do it correctly. Here we go. Component. Component.types. I think this list of component types, this is the kind of thing that I don't like how tightly coupled this is. Because there's, I guess, the only component that absolutely needs to be present is the entity ID component. No other component really needs to exist. So I need to figure out a way of separating the type definitions everywhere from the actual... I need to split this up so that I can just have my entity component system and not worry about it. Block valid. Block valid. Buffer. 3D. How are we doing on time? We're coming up on time. I don't know why I include a name. I also don't know about the wisdom about doing this alphabetically. So I'm having to like rewrite this list every single time I add a component. I also acknowledge that most of my components are buffers. Well, that will hopefully change someday. Because that's kind of a waste. It's kind of a waste of the ECS for that to be the case. But it does provide me a way of managing all these different buffers, I guess, which is okay. Which I like. I like it. I think it's all right. Is it great? No. Is it okay? Probably. All right, that's fixed. So like when we're doing this and we're in this blank slate situation, right? I kind of want it to be like you place your first block. That's like your anchor block. This is like the origin. And then so if you place another block separate from that origin that's not attached from that origin, that's invalid. Actually, what might be the easiest thing to do is we remember this initial block here, which I guess doesn't work if you like place this block, then place another, then erase the original block. I guess that's the get used bounds thing. So we do our get used bounds. Yeah, I don't know. I actually don't know how we're going to determine that. I mean, I guess you just pick a random point. And you just do one loop. You like try to get from one block to all the other blocks. And if you can't do it, it's a lot like the flood fill, the exterior flood fill. You basically flood around trying to find, and you stop when you hit an empty block. And then that, it won't look great because it might waffle. Like if we have two sets of blocks, one frame it might be like this block is considered invalid, and then the next frame maybe this block is considered invalid, and it kind of just bounces back and forth. If there's 3 of them, then only one of them would be considered valid, and I'm not sure if it matters which one is considered valid, right? Because you'll need to move them together. Uh-oh. Cut and paste doesn't work. That's unfortunate. Well, we need to fix that. What about copy and paste? Ooh. Copy and paste is not working. Post refactor. Well, now we know what we're going to bug fix tomorrow. Copy and paste. The copy part seems fine. The paste seems very broken. Cut also doesn't work, but I understand. I think I understand why. I think it's still modeled around the settled blocks. It's not trying to be super self-sufficient and only use the preview blocks, which actually honestly might not work. But that should be easy to fix. Hey, hex to start. Oh no, there was a refactor. There's always a refactor. We split a bunch of stuff up so that, how's it going, Hex? We did a refactor so that we were getting slowed down by like our flood fill system, and now we're trying to write a block validation thing, which reports if like you've done something invalid. Like we want a system So now the flood fill system is on a different task. So it's on a parallel thread. So now we can make these big changes and there's no hiccup anymore because it just goes along on another thread to do this stuff. So that was a worthwhile refactor in my opinion. Because we can make structural changes and then it kind of just chugs along in the background and then updates that stuff. So like if I plug a hole in here, it happens pretty quickly. It redoes the flood fill really quick. But it felt slow when it was all synchronous because it was hanging for like a second or so. But now that it's asynchronous, it just feels fine. Doesn't feel slow at all. But yeah, we need another system that can tell us when we've done something invalid. Like if you're placing a door and all of a sudden you placed 4 doors in a row, I want to have some kind of overlay that shows you that that's like wrong. Or if you've placed a block out on its own that's not attached to anything else, I want you to show that it's wrong. Maybe we just do a simple thing where like the bigger construct is considered. I don't know how you would check that though. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how we're gonna do that. Yeah, the smoothness is nice. The smoothness is nice, but we got everything on a parallel track. Yeah, it's coming along. This is our Power of 2 episode because it's episode 256. So we actually spent the first part of the stream, or maybe the middle part of the stream. We spent it looking back at what we were doing episode 128. All right, take it easy, Shenanigans. It's cool. We're making progress. We're making some progress. You know, this year it basically showed us all our progress this year. But what do you got going on? You got any jams coming up? I think I'm going to be doing the Halloween jam. I think I'm going to be doing the solo dev jam number 9. I think we're doing this. It's in a couple weeks. It's in exactly 2 weeks. The 24th to the 27th. I think this will be fun. Might just end the year with a super chill jam. You can use pre-made assets. So it's kind of like mini delivery. My last solo dev jam I did, or jam for the solo development jam, or game for the solo development jam. It's just it's going to be all Halloween-y pre-made assets. Just end with a chill jam. Where I don't have to I'm not scrambling to make all the assets from scratch. I do have a post-jam version of Bare Necessities I'm working on. Haven't spent much time on it, though. How have you been doing? Have you been doing any post-jam stuff? All right, so we've got our block valid. What we can do right now is I guess we could write our sync back function here. So we probably don't want to say preview room changes anymore. I think I want to rename these. So I think I want to call this sync buffer changes. And I think I want to call this sync back buffer changes. And I know that's really stupid, but actually I guess I like the word settle. I don't know. Maybe we could have like a push and pull or something like that. And this will be sync back. Yeah, I think I should have a pull or pull, push or something. Kind of, sort of, nothing shippable though. Okay. Yeah, your game was crazy. That was quite involved. It very much looked like something that could be continued to be worked on. All I want to do with mine is I want to address the usability issue everyone raised, which was very true, which is that there's no feedback for clicking around. And Bernard is so slow that you really need the feedback or you have no idea what's happening. So I want to do that. And I want to add audio. I think I'll go add like a song maybe and some ambient audio. We'll see. We'll see. I might do this next jam and lose all interest. But I don't know. So this is sync back. Buffer changes. I'm just going to put them all in here. And this is sync. Sync back. This is super confusing to do it this way, but it's what I'm going to do for right now. I know what I'm talking about, which I guess at the end of the day is all you need, but I try to be legible. I do a bad job of doing that with my code, make it legible. So if someone's actually interested in looking at it, they can. I usually fail that test. Okay, so here are the room buffers. And now what we need to do is we also need to sync back. So we need to say preview valid buffer. So close autocomplete. Okay. We just do a lot of these copies. Renaming these to make them a little more clear. So I've got block rooms and I've also got room bounds, and they're different things. And I'll be very clear about what's happening here. Song reminds you of Lord of the Rings. What doesn't remind you of Lord of the Rings? I don't mean that to the Shire more specifically. Okay, I could feel a little bit of Shire energy from this. Yeah, we're playing our chill guitar playlist. right, so I think I'm this is kinda working the way I expect it to work here. You're not even that much into Lord of the Rings. No, you just watched all of The Hobbit and all of the Lord of the Rings recently, which is only like 24 hours of movie. Rhiannon, have you ever seen the videos of the airplane mechanic guy who explains issues with planes and then relates it back to Lord of the Rings? No, but that sounds perfect. That sounds pretty perfect to me. Okay. Let's just do a quick, did we break anything check? I think it's closer to 20 hours, but yeah, point taken. Are we counting the extended editions? All right, let's make sure this works. Tomorrow we can... oh, I thought of something that we needed to do. Oh yeah, the copy paste is broken. Specifically the paste. So the paste of copy and paste is busted post refactor, so we're going to need to work on that. There's some weird stuff happening here. The auto tiler still. Yeah, that outline is weird. All right. I see some outline stuff I don't like. We also need to come up with a criteria by how we figure out whether a block is valid or not. That's going to be fun. So some bug fixes, some auto tiler stuff. We got plenty to do tomorrow. That's pretty good, Rhiannon. This plane crashed, but who didn't crash was the Eagles, and they took Gandalf from the tower. Yeah. That's great. You know who never skips their pre-flight checklist? The Eagles. Oh, we had a good stream. It wasn't anything crazy. I'm sure when we look back on this stream from episode 512, we're going to be like, what was he spending his time on? Man, we were stuck in tool development hell for so long. I'm hoping that's what we say. I'm hoping what we say at 512 is like, wow, it looks like the block editor tool is basically done. I'm sure we move on from that pretty soon after this. That's hopefully what we say. That's what we're hoping. Yeah. Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to do another 256 streams. I'm ready. I think we can do that in about it. I think we can do... Well, let's see. That was January of this year, huh? Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong about the timing. Moved on to development heaven. Yeah, because if we... Oh, no, that was episode 128. I forgot we have to cover twice as much ground. So we got from episode... It took us about 10 months to get from episode 128 to episode 256. So we're looking at about 20 months. I think we could get that down to like 18 months if I'm a little better about not skipping streams. So yeah, like I said before, I think it'll be interesting to see where we're at in spring of 2027. It'd be pretty cool if like a version of Lo-Fi Flyby is kind of out in the wild somewhere. Even if it's just like a really early beta or something, I don't know. It'd be cool to see some stuff happening. Hopefully we'll have a bunch more Game Jam games, but whatever. Yeah, let's go. I'm gonna go, but let's go. But we'll be back tomorrow. I will stream tomorrow. We'll be doing it. No reason not to. Yeah. I want to thank everyone for watching. You're gonna go catch some LD streams? Oh yeah, check it out. We're out of here too. I might join you. I want to see what people made with like the exact same theme that Down to Jam had. Yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope we have a great rest of the day. The radio just started playing Happy Happy Birthday, I guess. This is a pretty slow version of Happy Birthday, but all right. You didn't do LD, did you, Hex? That'd be crazy. If so, I want to check it out. Send me a link to it if you did. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day and a great weekend. Happy Friday again. Thank Godot it's Friday. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Maximum warp.